Hey, what is up everybody? Blaze for here, and today for you guys another video of Persona 5X. Today's video, guys, we're going to be going ahead and doing the Compendium series for the main protagonist, Persona Janosik. Now, Janosik is a really good persona itself, and is the one that, of course, Wonder does start off with, and it can be played in at least two different roles, one as a DPS and one as a supporter, though we're mainly going to be going over the support side. So if you were morely looking for a DPS for this persona, this might not be the video for you. Though I will at least say right now, support side is going to be the best one that you want to go ahead and do. So I'm going to be going over everything that you really got to focus with. So without further ado, we're going to get straight into the video, and thank you guys for watching. Now, Janosik is generally a persona that's used for its supporter type abilities. Even when it comes down to its passive, which is Hunting 3, yes, it does help you out in the attack factor, but the actual issue being marked, if it lands on a foe, which you can easily get just by using a move or either just keeping the persona on at that point in time, if this mark ends up landing, it ends up decreasing the defense of said foe by 12%. This is a huge deal, and you can actually deal additional 18% attack if you go ahead and use a gun skill, which will happen quite often as well from its first signature skill. Alongside of this here, the mark itself does reduce about 29.6% of defense for 2 whole turns, while also increasing your attack by 29.1%. So it's really powerful for both buffing and debuffing in some type of way, and a lot of you guys are going to utilize this the most. Now for the signature gun attack, this is a support persona here, so you really won't have to focus anything too hardcore, and the main reason I say that is because the only thing that you're going to need is Tetra Shot. Tetra Shot itself does 203 damage when maxed out with Wonder, and then as the gun attack to that one foe, it has a 75% chance of inflicting the mark status. Now, this will only reduce the enemy's defense by 29.6% for 2 whole turns, so do make use of it whenever you do get that mark on. It's actually very nice for dealing a ton of damage to that single target enemy, and can come in handy, especially if you're utilizing the passive correctly as well. The man Janosik also is mainly a single target type of person here, but you can apply AoE type debuffs and things of that nature on him, but really you're going to be using them just for a single target type of persona, so keep that in mind. The other side that you can look at is the thief tactics, or the highlight section here, which it does deal 360% of its attack as gun damage to one foe. This is about it, so nothing's too special with the highlight itself. The main good things are going to be from the main actual skill and the passive. But the real question is here, what do we need for this persona, and what skills do you need? Well, look no further, this is actually a persona that can be built fairly easy, and we're going to mainly just focus on the 2 things at first. One thing I can tell you, Terukaja and Rakunda, if you can go ahead and land these 2, you're immediately looking pretty much good, because this persona itself is very useful in both debuffing and buffing. Now, normally I'm a person who are going ahead and trying to min-max as much as possible and utilize one of these skills and get 4 different passives, but this is not going to be the case for Janosik, because really there's nothing you're gonna have to change on this persona too often, so you want to have both of these on the same set just to get it started, because then you can then use it as a debuffer if need be, aka using Rakunda, which of course decreases the defense by 36.9%, and then going ahead and using Terukaja when you want to be a buffer, increasing your allies percentage by 14.7%. Both of these skills are absolutely amazing, and anything else is mainly going to be up to you. If you're looking for more of a buffer side, which of course is something that you guys are going to be looking for, be sure to go ahead and try to invest into attack boost. Attack boost, of course, the #1 one, increases your attack by 5.8%, but later on in the future, if you do get the materials to do so, try to at least reach for attack boost 3, seeing this is going to give you pretty much a good footing on where you need to have Janosik for. You can get this from the Okanushi seal as well as the Cerberus seal here, both of which are absolutely amazing, boosting up your attack by 10.8%. Pretty darn interesting if you think of it that way, and it will help you out in the long run. Now, another skill that you can go ahead and use for at least this entire setup is going to most likely be at Pupil. There are going to be some times that you need to go ahead and utilize Rebellion on Janosik here, which is going to be another skill that you could very well teach it, but I'm not going to recommend it for this video itself here. But App Pupil still comes in handy, because when it does look like at least what you need on this persona here, this persona still can deal some damage. So having App Pupil, which makes it so you can get your crit rate up by 6.5% for #3, it can come in handy. You can very well use App Pupil 1, which you can get very early. It does increase your crit rate by 3.5% from the Bicorn seal. But if you wanted to min-max, be sure to try and get App Pupil 3, which you can get from Bielko, Bugs as well for those actual personas themselves. So really do keep that in mind. Now, the last thing I can say, if we have, let's just set up this correctly here. We have Racunda, we have attack boost, and we have our attack or our App Pupil here. We will end up having one whole section left or one more passive. This passive can be absolutely anything that you want it to do. If it was up to me, I would suggest you guys to go ahead and get life boost, in which is a very pivotal, nice passive to go ahead and get. This passive itself can be found in the life section, in which is called health boost here. Health boost increases our HP by 5.1% at health boost 1. And if you min-max it and go to health boost 3 here, it increases by 10.8%. This 10.8% can be gotten from Ganesha, Ose, and Savasarti, or I always say her name wrong. Gosh, someone please correct me down below in the comment section, because I got to learn how to pronounce that. I'm not going to lie to you. But those three are going to be very helpful, especially if you're trying to get health boost on this persona. And for this video, luckily we ended up getting it, so I can actually utilize this in the correct way to kind of showcase how this persona is going to really act. Just in case as well, I want to see if I can get this ready so we can actually showcase this off inside of a battle or some sort or a function. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just YOLO it here. Hopefully we get it. And look at that. Okay, the video actually preferred us for once. So we have our whole build here. Let's go ahead and get to showing exactly how this does work. So when it does come down to Janosik, you're really going to be using it in a way that's just meant for any type of support. You don't have to be overly crazy with figuring out how to do things with it. It's just going to be a persona that you can kind of get to know pretty easily. What I mean by that is it does not take a lot to really learn how to use the guy, or at least utilize this dude. So you can do this more in a 2-turn fashion if you really wanted to. And in some aspects, you can go ahead and utilize him as a 3-turn fashion. Just do keep in mind that the marked shot from its passive itself is going to be under a 2-turn circumstance. So you're more than likely going to use this as a 2 fashion. So the way I would set up my personas is going to be, first, we got to get our buff, right? First turn, we got our buff. Second turn, we're going to debuff or either buff again with Hirukaja, and then just go off of 2 turn. The third one can happen anytime. If you have Dominion, you very well can use it, but surely do keep in mind that one of them are going to be losing out on their buff. So either it's going to be their Dionysus that you're now going to be missing your crit damage buff, or either it's going to be him missing the defense down. So try to bring a persona that will make up for one of those. I'm just going to bring Norn just in case we want to get a winded attack here. So for us, this is how we're going to go about this. And actually, I should have brought Alice just to do this correctly here as well. But we're going to set this up in a function where they're going to debuff. All right, this is going to be our first turn. Our first turn is going to be about buffing Joker itself or himself here. So our first turn is going to be Dionysus. Dionysus is going to help us out with the crit damage that we do need, in which I'm going to act like we don't have this damage right now, I guess. But let's build up our stacks, I guess, just so we can showcase it, I guess, somewhat correctly. I want to actually restart. I do want to try and restart this because I don't like how he's not in the right section here, which is one of the downsides of me not being prepared for the actual persona itself and not having speed. So let's just change this around a little bit and let's bring Alice so we can have our speed tuning correctly. So boom, we have our Joker in the 4th slot. Everyone's going to be pretty decent. And now I can showcase this correctly. So since we are using Alice for this, we already know Alice's whole passive is going to stay for 2 whole turns. That's not going to be our main deal, so we're not going to worry about it too much right now. But let's say since we have Hirukaja and that is going to be on our Alice, we can actually do a whole 3 turn if I'm correct here. So first things first, we're debuffing. Going to start this off correctly. Hirukaja is what's going to get used on Alice first here, allowing us to do a full 3-turn type section here. That's going to be great for us. But let's go ahead and do this here. Hirukaja, which is going to boost our attack for 3 whole turns, meaning the next turn we can go ahead and utilize Dionysus. Now this round, I'm just going to go ahead and do this here. We're most likely going to go into our next function, and I don't remember if this has a second selection of personas, so we're not going to attack here. Now this one here we could very well buff. I'm just going to use the buff here because I don't want to kill by mistake with our other characters here. So let's get another buff immediately in. I'm going to use the single target because I don't want to kill them both off, and I know my Ren's pretty darn powerful. Let's go ahead and use Ultima Booster. We're not going to attack with Joker here because we will make sure we got the maximum amount of buffs. Now that we are back on Wonder himself, we're going to swap personas and we're going to go ahead and use Revolution. Now this is going to last for 3 whole rounds, but the passive for Dionysus is now going to be up for 2 whole rounds, which is absolutely amazing. We're able to then at least be able to have that crit damage and have our Alice's buff from Tyrakaja while also getting our buff from our Janosik as well. Now the good part about this is we're going to utilize the debuff side of him instead of a buff. Since we already used the Tyrakaja, we're going to use our Rakunda and be able to deal way more damage to at least one of these personas. So we only need 1 alive currently. So I'm just going to go ahead and kill off this one right here. It's not really going to change too much here. Let's kill off 1. We're going to set this up as our 3-turn buff again. Now we have all our buffs on our Joker. We will now have the lovely mark, which is going to happen from just swapping to this guy and utilizing the defense down. With this defense down that we just gave him, we have the mark, so you guys can immediately see defense down by 38.9%, 36.9%. And then if we go back to our Joker, we have our Power of Friendship buff, Justice Barrier buff, we have our Tyrakaja buff for 1 more turn, Revolution for 2 more turns, attack up for 19.5, another attack up, Trust and Power once again just from the card set, both of these here, the crit damage as well for 25%, 22% crit damage up from this, 45% crit damage up, another 16%, and then another 16% as well for crit damage. So we have the full on buff. Everything is active at one time. The only thing that is gone is Alice's main passive, but she still gave us Tyrakaja, so we don't have to worry about that. Everything that we put on is officially here, and so if we wanted to do like some crazy damage, we very well could do so. I'm just gonna go ahead and use this because it's already done. If we had an extra like round, you guys, oh, we do have an extra round. Okay, so I was just a little bit scared for no reason. We can just go ahead and do this. I'm gonna end it off that way because I didn't think that we had an extra round. Hence the reason why I tried to do it that way. But you guys got to see kind of the gist of everything that we were doing there. So you would have your 3-turn, you would have of course the defense downs on the enemy, and you would be able to deal some crazy damage as well. But that's all we wanted to go ahead and show. I would morally use our Janosik especially as a 3-turner if you're trying to do something like that where you're setting up your Tyrakaja already with your first persona, setting up your lovely buff with Dionysus, and then proceeding to debuff the enemy in that function. You can very well do a 2-turner, but it's gonna then get a little bit muddled, especially for your 3rd persona, seeing that you're then gonna be missing out on usually one of your passives. So surely do keep that in mind. But thank you guys for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please do hit that like button. I was trying to make sure we got the actual rotation correct for the whole 3 turns here. Forgot that this had 2 whole rows, or at least 2 whole rounds. So sure you do keep that in mind. But you guys got the gist of it. Thank you for watching. Peace out.